one of Wakefield's most successful spoken word artists this evening. His name's Matt Abbott, also known as Skint and Demoralised.
Probably Wakefield's only spoken word artist as well, which is why I'm the most successful, but I'll keep that to myself. Right, look, I know what you're thinking, poetry shit, I agree, but I'm just going to try it for 20 minutes and then go get my last trade on. Right, I'm going to start with the most romantic poem I've ever written and then move downwards from there. It's about an epiphany in a Greasy Spoon cafe in Ossett. It's called Kingsway Cafe, I don't know if you've been. Yeah. I don't do adverts, but I'm open on Sundays. Right. Sylvia's hands like the tablecloth, blending with the colour as she goes. Red and chubby in the most part, but white and frayed on the knuckles. There's no coffee on the menu, 2 lumps of sugar as standard in your tea, and so much food you can't eat again for a week. A portrait of Dusty Springfield lands proudly above my table. Pet Clark sings softly on the radio, closely followed by Chuck Berry. I finger through the back pages of a worthless rag, and then sigh with comfort as my spoon dances and sings, swirling semi-skimmed around my steaming hot mug. This cosy little cafe on the corner of Kingsway, a home away from home. It's bloody freezing outside, first week of November, but since Sylvia stuck the heating on, it feels like dining in a jacuzzi. 6 years you've been coming, she smiles with silver in the jar, and you know, love, no matter where you go, we'll never be too far. I sit back down, fiddle for a fag, and then sink into the warmth for my final 5 minutes. So I'm just about to leave when we're interrupted, prompted by the chimes above the door. All eyes are guided to a stranger's face. She looks timid, but still struts as she heads towards the counter. Her phone's died, the car's broken down, and she needs to make a call. In an instant, she's outrageously out of place, like a reasoned smile on a doctrinaire, like a tropical bird at Trafalgar Square. She's pierced the afternoon. We're all at a loss for what to do. I don't need to tell you how stunning she is, and not only that, she'd slip seamlessly into Sylvia's age twice over, and leave a poor woman blushing at the years to spare as she fumbles about for the handset. I shift my eyes to force distraction, and then I see him. The suntan, the side parting, the linen shirt and the Aston Martin, the Don Juan of Horbury. I wipe the bean juice from the corner of my mouth, stand up and follow her out. Comfort for too long has cursed me, and I never see this cafe again. Cheers. My stage name has for a few years been Skint and Demoralised. When I was 17 I thought it was quite tongue-in-cheek and jovial, but now obviously at 25 it's a harsh reality, and I've not travelled the world and been to Korea and all these amazing places, but I once booked a holiday. I saw my mates on Facebook going Lanzarote, Magaluf, Mali and all these amazing places, and I got pissed off, so I went on Adult Friend Finder at laterooms.com and I booked myself a holiday. And I booked myself a holiday in Scarborough, and this is an old classic dedicated to James Darcy. And I remembered last time I went to Scarborough, I met this girl called Barbara. She was sat down by the harbour eating chips and smoking Marlborough. You can see where it's going, I'm sorry. Went for a drink that night, things sparked up when I asked for a light, just talking like you do, start to flirt when you've both had a few. I gazed into her eyes, wear our hands on each other's thighs. It's 12 o'clock already, it's amazing how time flies. I walked her home down a cobbled road and she let me pop inside. The wine was poured, conversation flowed, with nothing left to hide. She turned down the lights and slipped off her tights. The candlelight made it romantic. No words needed speaking, the floorboards were creaking. In the end it were really quite frantic. But no time for passion, and in quite a rude fashion, she left me to sleep on the floor. She crept off to bed, left the romance for dead. I felt like I'd been with a whore. At sunrise the seagulls were singing, and the bastards made sure I'd been woken. The tears in my mouth were quite minging, and it felt like my back had been broken. I started to feel quite suspicious, so I went up and knocked on the door. The look that she gave me were vicious. She didn't seem so nice anymore. I scampered her downstairs, I didn't know what to do. A man followed down and said, "Who the fuck are you?" I said, "How do you know Barbara? And why are you up the coast?" And then he gave me a coffee and a slice of his toast. I said, "I met him last night, we had a drink by the pier." He slurped on his coffee and looked at me queer. I said I felt quite confused on what sort had been used. I made a joke about tits and he didn't look too amused. I saw the ring on his finger and I feared for my life. I said, "How do you know Barbara?" He said, "Barbara's my wife." Blackpool, which I told my mum I'd started reciting poetry and she said, "That's nice," and then she came to my gig. Okay, I'm going to read one now that I've never read before. I'll probably fuck up, but I've got it in a book there, should I? No, I'm just going to do it anyway. It's about... Thank you. You've helped me through that. Thank you. I'm deliberately socially awkward. It's fine, I'm not actually... Anyways, no worries, carry on. This is about our bad run of results in the Thornhill under-10s junior football team ruined a man's life. It can happen.
We know.
Well, if you aren't a Thornhill under-10s fan, I apologise for bringing back the memories, but... It was barely 3 weeks after his dismal dismissal as the Thornhill under-10s assistant manager that Tony's wife Sandra finally parted with her patience. Not that she was particularly aroused by the thought of Tony commanding a clipboard in the Pinpoint Recruitment Junior Football League, but on learning of his departure from the club, it became immediately apparent to all. To Tony, to Sandra, to their 10-year-old son, their 7-year-old daughter and their neighbour's bastard dog, that Tony could no longer fulfil the facade. And unwarily turning the key to 7C Albion Falls, an all-empowering raging pong Niam knocked him for 6. He could be forgiven for mistaking, amidst the coldness of a room, having not yet used the heating, that the refrigerator was fully working. But as the kitchen toyed with the reeks of a corpse and Tony tried not to gip, his cottage cheese Cravendale served a relentless reminder that perhaps he needed to lambast the landlord. He could just about handle the baseline binges that greet him from next door, or the fact that the living room window won't open, or the fact that the cigarette burns on the carpet are a welcome distraction from the bloodstains, or even the bi-weekly visits from Bulgarian bailiffs chasing the previous tenant. He can handle that, but the landlord really needs to sort out the fridge. After all, there were a full packet of dry-cured ham in there, tainted beyond consumption, $2.99 worth of Tesco's finest abandoned in the bin. Fuck that for a game of soldiers. And he'd often bemoaned the luxurious expense from the gold card splurges on Debenhams duvets, duck egg blue dining tables, flamingo curtains and calf kits and kitchenalia. But as Tony pulls on a threadbare rag that barely covers his feet, on a bed that feels like hardboard fused with rubble, he shivers with a sense of the warmth he can catch from a well-dressed, well-loved, semi-detached, a transatlantic distance from the life he used to know with Sandra just 5 miles down the road. Cheers. That's why dads go mental at kids on the touchline. That shit happens all the time. Right, so I used to be in a band called Skint and Demoralised, and we once got a really shit review on Channel 4 website. Now I know obviously next week we're getting Channel 5, and Channel 4's not really a big deal anymore, but basically when you get a review, sometimes it's the only way to track your progress, as in, if you Google your band's name and the only thing that comes up is a Facebook post from your mum saying keep going son, you're doing alright, you're fucked basically. It's not an egomaniac thing, but anyways, I found this review and it said the Northern Scouting for Girls 2 out of 10. Fair enough, you know, it's fine, you're entitled to your opinion, I genuinely don't mind. But the guy just put Tim, he didn't put a surname or an email address or a Twitter handle, he just put Tim, and it was this callous act of cowardice and the fact that there's a big gap between Jerry McCall and Luke Swimming, that I wrote this poem. It goes like this. A scathing review, to be quite polite, from a band called Tim on the Channel 4 site. I guess the chance is slim that we'll ever get to meet. If I recognise him, he'd be running down the street. His words were careful, clean and clear, a bitter reminder of yesteryear, because like a schoolboy's jab it was precise with pain. I find myself reading it again and again. He clocks out of work at 4:59, rushes for the circle of a district line. By 5:57 he'll be home and fed. He's totally forgotten what the website said, but what about the person that he slagged and slated, publicly and globally humiliated? A faux pas too far, fuck right off, I'm joking on my words and an arrogant toff. I shouldn't let it bother me or drive me mad. Of all manner of views, this is the worst I've had, but sometimes it relieves me to pick up a pen, especially when it leaves me with a 2 out of 10. Cheers. I'm not bitter or anything like that. Just had a bit of time on my hands.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. Never mind. Okay, this is another one about Barbara from Scarborough, but it don't mention sex, I promise. No, my mum's not here now. It don't mention sex anyway, but never mind. Oh, it's a shame. It's a profile of a woman that I grew to love after a weekend sojourn on the coast. It goes like this. As the Avon lady peels apart the customer receipt, Barbara shuffles awkwardly enough. Silently she curses at the slippers on her feet, depositing those wretched specks of fluff. There's a wedding photo propped upon the mantelpiece. She's watched her beauty fade from recognition, with her arm wrapped round a man who's now a stranger. 2 decades of the missionary position. Barbara stands to make them both a brew, whilst biscuits twist her arm in stacks of 3. She stumbles on her Facebook group, the class of 82. It's heaven, Monday night in 13B. And the pimple queens of Scarborough Comprehensive, reminder of the girl she used to know. Those afternoons of innocence spent dangling from the pier, she fondly reminisces with a tear. And it wasn't too long after she'd ditched that fraying blue blazer in favour of her garish disco threads that Barbara found love for the first time, and not just Phil Oakey. This one was for real. Malcolm Edward Norton. She's recently discovered that Malcolm lives in Morecambe with Michelle, the fat girl who'd borrow Barbara's mascara and leave the top of a bottle of gammy whenever she gave it back. Typical of a mucky cow. She sits beneath the Arctic ceiling's nicotine complexion with mustard swirls and a plastic chandelier. A dimmer switch that hides her imperfections. A centimetre slipped to yesteryear. Last weekend Barbara's brother came to see her with slip-on shoes and a half-price houndstooth scarf, and the all-too-perfect permatan Maria, whose 14's more a 14 and a half. And as boredom heads to the king-size bed she seldom gets to share, there's a chiffon quilt with an old Parisian print. From a summer sale at Debenhams, discount debonair, it almost looks expensive if you squint. And it's not exactly Cleopatra's palace, with a urine-scented staircase and a battery-powered phallus, but it's close to work and very easy on the rent. Just a shame for Barbara, time's the only fortune that she spent. Cheers. It did mention a dildo, so it's all Don't you think poetry's such a cultured thing? No, fucking hell. I try my best, but I'm from Ossett, so I can't really do much better. Right. Yeah. Ossett there, Ossett back. Anyways, Wakefield is famous for several things. The Cribs, J. McDonald, Rhubarb, whatever. The Hepworth Gallery, but it's got a 24-hour pie shop. Which is probably, it's not 24 hour, it shuts at about 6. If you go to a pie shop and it's shut, you know you've been out too long. I did give it an X-rated title, which I won't repeat, but I'm just going to try with poem anyway and see if it goes down well. Should I read from... Forget it wrong, it doesn't matter. Right, okay. Has anyone here been to the pie shop? Yeah. Okay, good. Fashion icons line the wall as punters patiently blink. There's a £6 slogan t-shirt, luminous green or neon pink. It's a drunken culinary kingdom, it's an existential sin if you've never left at 4 AM with gravy on your chin. Bouncers awkwardly avert their eyes as they keep the peace in pairs. Yes, you heard that right, folks. 2 bouncers on the stairs. Because if there's only 1 steak pie left and the rest is vegetarian, we're heading for a performance, chaps, and it's going to be a scary Synthesised riffs from the galaxy above as drunken tiffs put pride before love. In the restaurant room with the picnic benches, no ladies and gents, just wankers and wenches. I'll tell you what I'd fancy, love. I'll have a bottle of Beck's from the fridge, because she all might have stopped drinking, but I'm from Aubrey Bridge. And yeah, I want some gravy, love. You got any bangers and mash? Wait 2 minutes, I need to get some cash. You spent the evening delivering a sermon praising pie shop chips. As you climbed the stairs, I saw the salivation on your lips. But as you devour the polystyrene tray to feed a horse, you go and bloody douse the things in fake tomato sauce. And you might have pecs and tats and tans and haircuts from the Navy, but I've seen you sitting sheepishly with chips and cheese and gravy. If you go to the pie shop and actively avoid the pie, do not expect to meet me soon and look me in the eye. You can go to the Epworth all you want for your arty-farty needs. If you're really feeling cultured, why not catch the train to Leeds? But if you want the jewel crown in the Wakefield Westgate story, it's the gravy, it's a cunt-faced culinary kingdom and all its gravy, glut and glory. Cheers. It's on Westgate and there's a neon sign saying pies. Exactly. Yeah. Across the road from the nightclub there's an Antima's vending I'm going to do a cover version now. It's by John Cooper Clarke and I'd like to dedicate it to Mr. David Cameron. God bless him. This is if I were going to meet David Cameron and I had 2 minutes to give him my opinion of what he was like as a Prime Minister, this is what I'd say. Like a nightclub in the morning, you're the bitter end. Like a recently disinfected shithouse, you're clean round the bend. You give me the horrors, too bad to be true. All of my tomorrows are lousy because of you. You put the shat in shatter, put the pain in Spain. Your germs are splattered about, your face is just a stain. You're certainly no raver, commonly known as a drag. Do us all a favour, here, wear this polythene bag. You're like a dose of scabies, I've got you under my skin. You make life a fairy tale. Grim. People mention murder. The moment you arrive, I'd consider killing you if I thought you were alive. You've got this slippery quality. It makes me think of phlegm and a dual personality. I hate both of them. Your bad breath, amps, disease, destruction and decay. Please, 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 please take yourself away like a death at a birthday party. You ruin all the fun like a tucked and spat out smarty. You're no use to anyone. Like the shadow of the guillotine on a dead consumptive's face. Speaking as an outsider, what do you think of the human race? You went to a progressive psychiatrist. He recommended suicide before scratching your bad name off his list and pointing the way outside. You hear laughter breaking through, it makes you want to fart. You're heading for a breakdown, better pull yourself apart. Your dirty name gets plastered out when something goes amiss. Your attitudes, platitudes just make me want to piss. What kind of creature bore you? Was it some kind of bat? They can't find a good word for you, but I can. Swat. John Cooper Clarke poem. I did say it were a cover version, but I did it once and said it were a cover and then didn't say it were John Cooper Clarke and somebody accused me of trying to steal his material. Anyways, I've got 2 poems left. Don't worry. The poetry is nearly over. It's fine. I've got a last train to catch. I've got work in morning. I run a vintage shop by day and recite shit poetry by night. It's like the Mighty Boosh rolled into one. Oh, before I forget, I've just got one quick point to make. My English teacher, I actually got asked to quit doing English at sixth form. I don't know why. But my English teacher always said to me, never write a story that ends. And then I woke up and it was all a dream. 2 years later, Inception made 300 billion at first weekend, so fuck them, don't listen to teachers. If you are a teacher, I'm sorry. And if you are an English teacher, I'm even sorry.
English teacher.
Sorry.
I'm a really good English teacher, aren't I?
No.
Thank you.
Don't hate all teachers.
Glad you're here, man.
I just hated my English teacher, I don't hate all teachers. You can understand why she hated me, to be fair, having heard my poetry.
Most
Was that
people
Ossett
I
School?
think hate me, so...
Ossett School?
Ossett School, yeah.
Oh, which teacher?
I can't be naming names.
Which
Anyway.
teacher?
You've opened a bag of worms here.
You have.
I'm intrigued now.
I can't remember is it she was really
Mrs. Name, was it?
No, you're not. Don't be daft. Mrs. Horton, she was called. But we called it Cookie Monster. Anyways, this is called I've got 2 poems left. This is called The Lonely Arts of England. Approval and affection, they force you to perform. When you look in your reflection, does it make you feel warm? Or does something hold you back until someone holds you tight? Someone for a lifetime or maybe just a night. And I've tried and failed many times, I've rarely won. But I am a chatty bugger, yes I am my mother's son. So I try and find my finest shirt and show them what I can. I've got various ambitions as an independent man. Does it make you start to question? Does it ever guarantee? With the lonely hearts of England standing raise a glass with me? With the girls all wearing dresses and the fellas wearing shoes. Everything excessive and everything to lose. When the bells ring out for 2 o'clock, it's a measure of your night. You'll either end up frisky or you'll end up in a fight. Are you standing with your sweetheart? Are you looking for a match? Do you tell yourself in silence that you really are a catch? When you slip outside for a cigarette and you try to make a laugh and been treated to the doubles with the last of the overdraft. Just get another round in, we're wasting precious time. No celebrates, we're celebrating, living in our prime. Do you often sit and wonder what happiness might be? Of the lonely hearts of England standing raise a glass with me. Old Father Time with his stacks of coins is propping up the bar. He's seen all kinds of faces, but he's never been that far. He's fragile and he's bony, with skin as thin as silk. But he'd drink a pint of whiskey like he'd drink a pint of milk. When your song came on the jukebox and you had to stand and jive. And it's 9 o'clock on a Friday night when you really come alive. Just lose your inhibitions and forget about the truth. Because the one thing that you can't get back is the freedom of your youth. And they snooze in by the telly if they choose to disagree. With the lonely hearts of England standing raise a glass with me. Have you spotted someone sexy? Are you trying to catch their eye? It's a bloody expensive taxi if you stand around all shy. With a little introduction and a little bit of charm. You've a belly filled with butterflies and someone on your arm. And I've told you many times before and I'll tell you many more. You're my greatest friend in the bloody world and that is something sure. And I know I've never met you but you're such a bloody star. So let's gather our possessions and we'll find another bar. If it's sunny or it's snowing, it's a ritual for life. If you're looking for a girlfriend or you're hiding from your wife. If you're drinking on your pension. If you're young and fancy free. With the lonely hearts of England standing raise a glass with me. Cheers. Right, I've got one left. And then I've got to run for my training and I'm going to be in a lot of trouble when I get home late. Okay, it's a very quick poem. Some of you might have heard it before. Basically, I wrote it just before the BNP got elected into European Parliament. I know I'm a Leeds United season ticket holder, but it's anti-BNP, it's against BNP. Basically insinuate that everything that BNP insinuate, everything that's foreign has got to go back to where it came from, and Britain should be for British things and nothing else. And in the simplest way possible, the most British thing in the world is a good old night out. And what exactly do you do on a British night out? You go up the road to an Irish pub, suck some Belgian beer, nip out for some grub, you find a nice takeout and eat a Turkish kebab, get drugged on by an Asian in the back of a German cab, you fall asleep in an armchair that you bought in a Swedish shop, watching American shows on a Japanese telly, just tell me when to stop. The fact of the matter is, the BNP, EDL, UKIP are talking shit, so don't vote either of them. Love music, hate racism, and have a good night. Cheers.